time of year again when I sit back and reflect on the goals that I made at the beginning of the year. And what better way to do that than sit back and reflect with you, as well as share some of my favorite books that I read this year. So let's go. Hi friends! Last January I decided on 4 quarterly goals. While the quarterly part didn't really work out at all, I was still really happy to have goals to work towards throughout the year. First on the agenda was to attain C1 DELE. DELE is essentially used to describe one's Spanish fluency. At the beginning of the year, I took a placement exam which put me at a B1 level. In hindsight, that was quite a lofty goal to go from B1 to B2, then ending in C1 in an entire year, let alone a quarter of a year. Maybe if that was my only focus, I could have done it, but it wasn't my only objective for 2021. Recently, I took another placement test to determine my level a year later, only to find out that I'm still at a B1 level. Which is alright, because while I'm technically at the same level, I still feel like I put a lot of time and effort towards this goal through continuing my weekly lessons with my tutor Alfonso, finishing the 75 hours of Pimsleur Spanish lessons, and now I'm working on Duolingo, which I also plan on reviewing. Glacier National Park was the original plan, but a friend of mine in South Dakota invited Austin and I to visit. While we didn't get to visit my friend, we did already have the flight booked, so we ended up going to Badlands National Park anyway in South Dakota, and then driving up to North Dakota to visit Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Both parks had great trails, buffalo, prairie dogs, but only Theodore Roosevelt National Park had the awesome autumnal foliage. This didn't happen at all. I just like food too much. I'm not even sorry. The goal to get a flat stomach this year was on the list because I think it's an incredible achievement. It's not at all easy for me, and maybe the fact that it's not easy for me makes me want it that much more. I also think that it's a symbol of ultimate health. Not like ultimate perfect health, but like, however, really what I want is just to make sure that I don't get diabetes, because a lot of my family has it and I'm just trying to do what's in my power to decrease that as a possibility. Because of that, I think the more important factor is sugar intake, so I might do a cleanse or a sugar strike or something to reset my taste buds, or even more drastic, a month without chips. Oh my god, every time I say it, it just gets more sad. Although my eating habits could be more consistently healthy, I am making sure to get that exercise in. At the beginning of the year, I did the not so recommended 75 hard challenge. I've kept up my weightlifting routine for most of the year. I completed a fitness challenge in November and I'm in the middle of another one, but I'm saving those challenge experiences for upcoming videos, so stay tuned. After having moved my music library to Plex from Google Play Music, which doesn't exist anymore because it's now YouTube Music, everything was a mess. Some of the tracks didn't have names, others had tracks, but they were the wrong ones, and I really wish I would have recorded how long it took for me to do this, but now I can proudly say that everything has an artist, a track title, and an album title at the very least. There's still a lot to go, like genres and playlists, but I think I'm still going to call this Go Complete. My video library is another story. I currently have over 900 gigs of video, and it's constantly growing, which means it constantly needs to be labeled. I'm labeling each video in an attempt to create my very own library of stock footage. Also helped by making the script that finds the video files that have yet to be labeled, which has helped tremendously. But it's just gonna take time. Consistent time towards watching every single clip and labeling them. I also had a couple of side quests like read 32 books and go on an international trip just in case I didn't have enough to do this year.
As if.
I went to Iceland a few months ago for an incredible amount of hiking and then also scuba diving between tectonic plates, which was actually something pretty high up on my bucket list. I was fortunate enough to go to Mexico with my family after a bit of a passport fiasco, but still managed to get a passport in 2 weeks. I read quite a few books this year, and if you're anything like me and enjoy self-development books as well as sci-fi fantasy books, then here are a couple books that I'd recommend you read if you haven't already. My friend Allie recommended An Ember in the Ashes to me. Check out her Instagram, she's always got great recommendations. A woman POC author wrote the heck out of this fantasy series. I laughed, I cried, I got way too emotionally attached to the characters, and when I finished the 4 books I went into withdrawal, but it's fine now. Thriving. Dune was read in preparation for the movie, which wasn't even the entire story of the first book, but we're not upset. I also read it a few years ago, so I'm not sure why I thought it was better this time. Have you ever read a book that you thought was better the second time around? Let me know in the comments. I like to read them a couple times and find out why they were good. Project Hail Mary just made me smile and laugh. I enjoyed The Martian, also by Andy Weir, just as much as I did this one. This is my bump. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People taught me loads, so much so that I had to make a video about it, as well as Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. So thanks for watching it, and don't forget to share your favorite books in the comments below, and I'll see you next year, because that joke never gets old, am I right? Bye! My friend Ellie recommended an ember to the window, to the wall.